Hello everyone, and welcome back to Journey Beyond the Abyss. Last time we set up the gas refining and production of nitric acid and sodium hydroxide and sodium cyanide to get the leaching done. And after having done this, now I can start and actually connect all the gas tanks, connect all the liquid tanks, and such. So we will jump right in it. Literally. Well, with the slight caveat that I do not have enough parts. So, need to craft more. Just one short cut later, and strangely enough, it just works as soon as I switch on the machine and put in yet another induction plate. And I really need to make more of these. They are really expensive and rather annoying. Oh, I don't even need one. Oh, nice. So, I do get oxygen, and now comes the very important discovery, or rather very soon, that I can just cross the lines. And yes, vanadium has been done. Isn't that great? The first 3 grains of vanadium dust. Which then, of course, means that I need an output. And that means I need to punch a hole into my beautiful floor. And for once, I'm quite smart and immediately deck it out with wood. For those who wonder why I underlay my factory with wood, it's rather easy. It's a protection from my pickaxe, which is way too powerful. And yes, there I'm still kind of wondering what the hell this actually means, this reaction intensity, and I still have no idea. Quite honestly. And yes, and that the extraction just takes time, and I'm not patient at this point anymore. Yes, vanadium, banner steel. I'll need that for upgrades in the profiling bench. Can make it into things. I guess I'll need it for upgrades later, but mostly I need it for sulfuric acid. Right, there are quite a few shards out of the vanadate, and of course I've run out of the sodium hydroxide. And yes, there is a tiny trickle of ammonia coming in, but I do have lots and lots of ammonium nitrate, so that will be no problem whatsoever. And I just need to remember to make new. Going forward, that probably means that I need to put down a dedicated lab oven, because we'll just need a lab oven for that. Maybe I'll even find a way to miniaturize the whole thing, but I don't think that's actually possible. And yes, oxygen is mostly running out, but yeah, now why not just try it, you know? It's close, so why not just see if that would actually connect? Well, that means also that I need to craft more gas ducts, which, yeah, I made another pump, but making the ducts is something that I regularly forget. Oh, I don't have enough. And yes, there you just saw it. It ticked up by a millibucket. Or a bucket. And yes, so things are slowly working. Now, yeah, I'm just looking for what vanadium can do, and yes, that's the recipe I want to do. Sulfuric acid, because that unlocks me hydrofluoric acid, which I will need for something. Leaching. And now definitely should start with making some more upgrades. So I'll need to look for beryllium. Thankfully there are 2 minerals that give pure beryllium, so of course I do this. No, I do not want all these rare earth metals. No gadolonite for me. Instead, I want to make bromellite, which is an oxide. And yes, doing some basic sorting of the gang I made. And yes, the leachate. That also will be a thorn in my side going forward. Because of course you might see that the tank is already quite full. And yes, I was looking at a book for where to actually put those things. Also, the book says that you could put in glassware, but you can't. So I'll cut this short. Yeah, as you can see, I tried to right-click the glassware holder, it just won't work. There's no block I can interact with. Right, and now for a new metal. Cobalt, applewhite, bentonite, or beaverite. And beaverite is the best because it has a small chance of giving us sulfur and a big chance of giving cobalt. So there I just play around with it and try and have the stabilization at 100% and hope for the best. And yes, the UI not very helpful, but in a bit this will give us some nice cobalt finally. This cobalt also can be used for tinkers, of course. I'm not going to use it for tinkers right now. And as you can see, you get around the percentage amount of the minerals or the elements right into there. So, and finally I craft speed upgrades. Lots and lots of speed upgrades. Because I'm going to need them. Also, I decide that the gas pipes are a natural fit with the liquid pipes, so yeah. Several speed upgrades get made and I put them in. because all of these processes are really, really slow. Especially that, and especially the heat exchanger. Do have a whole lot of processed air, but I will need to get air processing going as well. And yes, it's very slow making the cool air. Right, all the other stuff is happily going on. Well, not quite, because of course I've run out of hydrochloric acid. But I do now have tiny amounts of hydrochloric acid going on here, so I can just lock that down. And of course, this is a bit more beautiful, also completely missing the point, but well, I always intended to make a weird L shape. And of course, I can just empty out that tank from the side. And I have a bucket of acid, and will anything happen? Boring. But we'll have the chance for disaster coming up. Don't you worry. And now, cobalt is empty again. We've got a bit of sulfur, and there is my first cobalt dust. What can I actually do with it? The QB alloy takes cobalt, so that's the first thing that I need to use it for. And then I remember that I have some strange minerals lying around my old base. Also, I'm going to need quite a lot of copper. So, can I just throw copper in the lab blender? Well, lab blender anyway first. And set it up rightly. And the answer, by the way, is no. It will not convert copper ingots to copper dust. I'll need the crusher for that, or just throw in copper ingots as they are. So, well, this is going more beaverite, so more cobalt. And yes, it does not use up the catalyst frames, which is very nice. And all in all, I now have a total of 2 cobalt dusts. Amazing, isn't it? Now, I see if there's actually any difference, or look if there's actually any difference between the recovery rate and the reaction intensity, because with all these catalysts, the safe recovery, or the stabilization rather, stays at 100% even at maximum intensity. I don't quite yet trust the machine to work at 100% intensity, so I'll put it down again. But in the future I'll experiment with that, whatever that means. And yes, no, the lab blender does not blend copper ingots. I could have just looked at it. And copper grit is just enough, I don't need copper dust. It takes a while until I figure that out. But that means just a crusher, and that means back to the old Fox base. Also, if I'm there, I could just grab some nickel and some aluminium. So, there we go. And quickly feed quite a lot of copper to my main crusher. Go. And back to the lab. Wonderful. Feed aluminium into the crusher, feed nickel grit into this, and let's make some more nickel aluminum alloy, because I'm going to need that for the speed upgrades tier 3. What I don't realize at this moment is that the thing has just run out of water for the cooling. So let's build another water pipe. And if we build it, let's build it good. The use of iron pipes really helps with the problem that the buildcraft pipes have, and that is that they tend to flow backwards of the direction you want. So that's why there are all these iron pipes. Also, while we're at it, I'll just redo the whole water piping system, and yes, that's the wrong way around. Beautiful. And as you can imagine, this is not enough water that this one dinky little pump provides. So, 1, I'm going to need more pipes, and 2, I'm going to need another pump, because there's only a very tiny trickle of water arriving where I want it. And yes, at this moment I realized that I just should build a nice big navigating pipe that includes, or that provides for most of the chemistry lab. And yay, I have a whole 7 cobalt dusts. And I've run out of things to leach. So, next thing will be beryllium. And yes, liquid ammonia has been made. Beautiful, isn't it? Maybe I'll even go back to building the dam pipes again, but not yet. Now, not quite sure why, but I do change the recipe to... Oh yes, I ran out of sodium cyanide, so I need to make more sodium cyanide. And then I realized that somewhere along the way my chloride compounds went away. So I just take salt and make more. Yes, that's all there is to it. If you run out of resources, you just make more. And yes, this is a backflow problem, and this is also not ideal. But the real culprit is, of course, the pump. It's way underpowered. And I'm about to do something very stupid. And there's some water in it, and ow! Nitric acid is really, really deadly. Somehow there was a millibucket of water in that barrel, and I didn't see it, and I just right-clicked the bucket on it, and it nearly killed me. Nitric acid is really, really dangerous. Holy cow. That was very, very close. But with the new setup, not a problem, but of course now I need to get the water in here. Right. But new cyanide is done. And now there's burger meat and whatever the other thing is called. It's fast. And I can finally make beryllium, which then can be done into BAM. Oh well. You like pipes? Well, I'm going to make more pipes soon, because this thing now drinks just reinforced petroleum, or what's it called? The better petroleum like water. So I just pull over a pipeline, and that should be the last I need to think about feeding this thing. Right. Cyanide, more metals, water, and yes. Very, very slowly realize that the water is not enough. Not by a long shot. Also, I finally realized that, oh yes, this is running full of leachate. And the stuff is kind of useful. I can get some resources from it, but not that much. So, what now? I'm going to need pumps, and I'm going to need routing pipes to actually route the stuff, because there is weak, medium, and concentrated leachate, and each of those three can be used in different recipes. But so far I'll just throw it in a barrel and forget about it. And yes, medium grade leachate is being pumped. Note that I forgot to set any filters to the left or to the right, so both of these barrels will get filled with the next kind of leachate. Again, fiddling with the settings, I have no idea if it does anything. And here I look at the book for help, but no help is to be found. It just doesn't explain what reaction intensity actually means. Yeah, not too helpful here. Just read the book. Right. And now it slowly goes. Then I remember, oh, I wanted to make speed upgrades, so let's make a few more. And especially throw in speed upgrades in this, and it immediately helps. And that will be very, very much needed. And there is some more aluminium, dust, and I can make more alni. I'll just call this alloy alni now. Then I consider if I should break apart these extra machines or not. Well, not going to do that. And at that point, recording stopped. Because mostly I accidentally hit F9 when I wanted to just pause. For closure's sake, though, let's watch me actually install the new pump. And hook it up to the fluid network. Right. Take the hammer. And of course, yes, I remember that the pump needs power. Beautiful. Yes, red dot. Wonderful. And will it work? Well, we'll see next time. Goodbye, everyone, and have a good day.